Dave Smith here. Okay, so this video is another in the getting started in film photography. We're almost at the end of the first volume, as it were, the very basics, and we're now at the point where we have, where's my tank? We've got our film inside the dark tank, and we're ready for the exciting bit. Now, I imagine if you're brand new to film photography, this might be the bit that you feel was a bit daunting. But honestly, the way we're going to do it, it's going to be the single easiest bit of the whole process. Easier even than loading and unloading the film in your camera. Honestly. Okay? Now, if you take your dark tank, if you look on the bottom, it should tell you somewhere, yes, so on mine it's a little kind of bit around here on this one, same on the other tank over there, and it tells us how much to use, how much solution we need. So for 35mm, this one says O126 films. Can't buy 126 anymore, it's been defunct for well at least a decade, but probably more. It says 290 cc's solution. So if you're using a tank of that size, you want 290 mils of solution in there. And this tank, this is the newer Patterson, remember, exactly the same. 290 mils of solution. And this one has a solution for 127 as well. You can't get 127 either, so we won't bother about those. Okay, so in front of me here, I've got everything you're going to need. Now, I use laboratory glassware because that's what I've got. You don't need laboratory glassware. You could just use a really cheap plastic measuring jug that you'd buy for the kitchen, so sort of something as cheap as you can get from the local supermarket will be absolutely fine. Just don't use it for eating, for food or drink. Okay, so if you're going to use those, put it to one side. Keep it just for this. Okay, I've got my Rodinal developer. You'll see this says R09. R09 is the kind of technical name for Rodinal. Rodinal, as I said previously, comes in a whole range of brands. ADOX bought the rights to Rodinal when they stopped making it, and so now you buy it under Adenol, for example. So I've got R09, and I've got a big tub of Rapid Fixer from Ilford. Yours will probably be a 1 litre carton. Okay, so that's it. That's what we're going to need. So what I do, excuse me, sorry, you're also going to need one of these, a syringe. Oh, mine's got a bit dirty in there, I better clean that. You can get these from any pharmacy. You don't need the needles, just the syringe. From any pharmacy, and it will just help you measure out small quantities. Here's what I do. I take my Rodinal developer and I just put a little dribble in the bottom of here, enough that I can suck up 5 mils. I suck up the 5 mils into here, get it to 5 mils, and then I squirt it into there. Then I pour back any developer I didn't suck up. Then I use this to fill this as far as I need, up to 290 mils is there. Okay, so I put 200, fill it up to 290 mils. So I've got 5 mils of developer in 290 mils of water. That's all you need to do. Now, there are plenty of people out there who will cringe at the method that I'm going to give you, but I want to keep this as simple and straightforward and easy as possible, and this is that method. We will look at other methods as we delve into more detail of film photography in in future volumes. Okay, so we've got our 290mm in there. So we take our tank where we've previously loaded our film, and we just take the lid off. We won't need, you can use that if you want. If you've got one of those that plugs in, you see it's got a notch in there, so you want to just twiddle that till it goes all the way in, and then you can use that to turn the film backwards and forwards in the next stage. I tend not to use that, just preference. So you've got your tank, film's in there, 290mm of developer, pour it straight in, put the lid on, and then you want to just invert it like this all the way around, up and down, backwards and forwards for about 30 seconds. Okay, thereabouts, just to get that developer nicely sort of mixed and flowing all over the film. And then when your 30 seconds is up, you're just going to put it on the bench and you're going to give it a nice tap. Now that tap is to dislodge from the film any air bubbles, and every time we do that, every time we agitate, we give it a nice bang to get rid of any air bubbles off the surface of the film. Now here's the trick, here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave that sitting there now for 30 minutes. Set yourself a timer, 30 minutes, go off, have a drink of tea, get excited about what your negs are going to look like. You just leave it sat. This is called semi-stand development, and this is why I suggested you buy Rodinol developer, because it's very good for semi-stand development. Now, as I say, lots of people don't like stand development techniques, but I do. 30 minutes come by, you come back to your film and you give it some more agitation all the way around, backwards and forwards, roll it about, get the developer nicely mixed up and moved about the film, right? This is quite important. Back on the bench, a little tap. Gosh, I bet that bang came across. Okay, give it a bash, dislodge any air bubbles, another 30 minutes. After your 30 minutes are up, your development's finished. Okay, you take your lid off, pour the developer down the sink. Now, don't worry about pouring it away like that. We've used such a tiny amount of developer that it's all going to get used in the development. So we've got very, very slight amounts of chemical left in that water. It'll be fine down the sink. Okay. Now what you need, so whilst that sort of 2 lots of 30 minutes are transpiring, you can mix your fixer. Make sure you give this a good old rinse. You don't want any developer left in there ideally. And we mix the fixer at 1+4. So we want 290 mils. Okay, so if I divide that by 5, that's whatever that's going to be. 40, I want to say 45 mils. Is that going to be right? No, 48 mils. So 48 mils of fixer, right? We'll keep life simple, we'll call it 50. So 50 mils of fixer into your measuring cylinder or your measuring jug, whatever you're using, and then 4 times as much water. Now if I've used 50 mils, 4 times is 200, so that's going to give me 250 mils in total, which is actually that's slightly less than we need. Let me redo that calculation. So let's call it, let's say this needs 300 mils. 5 into that is 60 mils. Okay, so put yourself 60 mils in there. 4 times as much, 240. We're going to end up with 300 mils of fixer diluted at 1+4. That'll be fine. So you've poured your developer out. Put a little water in, just run water through until it runs all the way through. Just rinse anything off the film. There won't be anything on because we've used such a small amount. Put your fixer in. Now, same again, lid on, a little mixing about. Okay, on the table, set your timer to 5 minutes. Don't overfix your film, ever. It can start to degrade if it's in there too long. So 5 minutes, plenty. 5 minutes gone by, you can jiggle it about a bit, a couple of times in that 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes gone by, take the lid off. Don't pour the fixer away. You can save the fixer to pour it back into your beaker and put it into an empty soda bottle, for example. Just anything that you can keep it. Label it. You can use that fixer, say 10 times, then throw it away. Now you need to rinse your film. Okay. I normally leave the lid on and I'll let the tap run into here and just run through for a few minutes. Then I take the lid off. It's light safe now. Let the tap run a few more minutes. Couple of changes of water. Okay. Then what I do, again, some people won't like this, but it's perfectly fine. Literally 1 or 2 drops of washing up liquid down the centre here. Let your water run in, and as it bubbles up through and you start to see the foaming detergent here, that's fine. Take it out. See, I don't actually have a film on here, and you're ready to unload your film. Okay, now to unload the film, these things separate. So I unfasten it and bring that right off, and the film will just pull off. Okay. So you hear that click. That's our normal loading. Okay. Now if I try to turn that way, it won't go. That way, unclips, and I can take the film out. When you've got your film out, let me get my spare piece over here. It'll be wet. Hold it over the sink by one end. Use 2 fingers and literally down, and just do that maybe twice. Done. Okay. That will now dry nice and even. Now you need to hang that up somewhere. Now what I do is upstairs in my bathroom I have a shower curtain rail thing. I just use a couple of these. I've tied one up onto the rail using some string, and one of these at the bottom just to hold it flat, and that will dry in no time, an hour. Leave it longer than that. I usually leave it hanging overnight, and I come to it the next morning and it's done. Okay, there it is. Now you're going to have your first roll of film, of negatives, fully developed, exposed, everything. Now we're going to work out in the next video. The next video will be the final video in the basics volume of getting started in film photography. I'll do that later, messing about with that. And then we're going to start going back through these ideas and delving much deeper. So I hope that's been of some interest. I hope you're excited to see your roll of negatives. Let me know how they turn out. Send me some examples, but you'll need to wait for the next video for that. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.